Good afternoon, dear Delphi developers. My name is Yaroslav Brovin. I worked for many years as a developer in the FireMonkey team. Got a lot of experience in cross-platform development and using low-level API of different operation systems. I know the strengths and weakness of developing for different operation systems and different frameworks. And as a result, I made FGX Native an alternative opportunity to develop cross-platform native, fast mobile application in your favorite Delphi language for iOS and Android, but at the same time made applications faster and more responsive. What is FGX Native? FGX Native is a framework developed from scratch and completely independent of VCL and FireMonkey. It allows you to create mobile applications using native components provided by operation systems, similar to how the VCL works, but with a cross-platform basis. Key features. The first, it is a high speed and smooth operation of application. It is 100% native. This means that the finished application is not only delivered as native machine code, but we also use components that are native, since we also use operation system components like VCL. With this, the high speed of the application and the smoothness of all animations are achieved. The full support for right-to-left languages and full-fledged text input, text display, and even markup mirroring using Flexbox for left-to-right and right-to-left languages. A large set of ready-made solutions for mobile applications, barcode scanners, push notifications, camera work, identification services, payments, embedded advertising, localization, fast special mobile components, and much more. We have completely developed our form designer from scratch, with a set of cool tools for rapid prototyping of mobile application. We are using modern approach in developments that allow you to expand the library both in width and in depth. We also provide additional development tools for working and viewing logs, generating headers files for the Android API bridge. Let's start our acquaintance with FGX Native by creating a new project and demonstrating the Flexbox alignment features implemented in FGX Native. The world of mobile devices is characterized by a large variability in screen sizes. It's often necessary to use different placement of elements on screens for different orientation and sizes of screens. The classic Delphi alignment system was created in an era when mobile development did not exist in principle, so it is not particularly suitable for these purposes. In FGX Native, we abandoned the classical system in favor of the modern Flexbox, which has already become the de facto standard in various programming languages and layout systems. As a result, we can create complex adaptive markup layout directly in the IDE, and as a rule without a single line of code. Let's create a new project and have a look at the Flexbox live. After installing FGX Native, a new project type will be available for you in File New FGX Application. There are a wizard where we can select one of the predefined template. We can create and enter application name, organization identifier, and specify where we would like to locate our project. Also, we can change and set up environment options for Android and iOS targets. Now, let's open main form. Let's add a few buttons to the form. 1, 2, and 3. Each visual component of FGX Native support Flexbox Flexbox alignment. This means that almost every component can be aligned via Flexbox. As you can see, by default all components use absolute position. This means that where you have placed the component, it remains there, even if we change form size. If you would like to add a component binding to the size of the parent, then relative position will come to the rescue. It is also known as anchors. However, if the anchors just fix the current position of the left, right, top and bottom margins from the edge of the component to the parent, and it is quite difficult to set a specific indentation value. However, in FGX Native, you can specify the value you need. For example, if you would like to place button 3 on the right and bottom corner, you can just specify required margins. For example, bottom, let's input 60 and right side also 16. Now, if we change form size, you can see that all left, top, right and bottoms sides of button is linked to the related form container sides. If you would like to link only to top, to bottom and right, we need to disable checkbox on left and top properties. And now, if we change form container size, you can see that button is glued to the this corner with specified margins. This is cool position tools that introduces a dependency only between component and its parent, but not between adjacent buttons. To take advantages of all the Flexbox features, we need to set the relative position mode. This is done using the position mode property relative. As soon as we set this value there, all components, it is immediately aligned by its parent according to the Flexbox systems. Let's do it and select all buttons and select relative position mode. As you can see, buttons are immediately aligned by form. Flexbox uses the concept of two alignment axes, main and secondary, and offers a set of properties responsible for the arrangement of components along two axes. The axes are mutually perpendicular. We can choose the direction of the main alignment axis using the direction property of a container. In this case, for main is a Flexbox container for our buttons. The alignment children property is corresponding for alignment children in container, and there you can change direction. It is the main direction. For example, column, reverse column, row, reverse row. In this case, you can see that our special Flexbox designer reflect changing axis, direction axis, and change appearance of other related Flexbox alignment properties. There are a large number of different options where everyone will find the right one for the same self. For example, by default, it uses flex start justify content. It means that all children components are alignment from start. If you would like to place button to the end, we just select flex end. If you would like to place it in the center, just select center. Also, there are advanced space between, space around, and evenly. And using align items property, we can change the alignment of components along the secondary axis. In this case, secondary axis is refers to the right side. So we can select Flex Start. In this case, our button will be moved to the left side, end side, center, and stretch. Stretch is used by default. Why do we use start and end naming instead of using left and right? It depends on right to left languages. And for example, if user would like to use right to left languages and layout system, he can just switch for form container right to left layout direction. In this case, all layout will be reversed from left to right, and vice versa for left to right. What if you want to stretch or compress the component proportionally? There is nothing easier. It is enough to set the stretching coefficient through the flex grow property, and the component will stretch proportionally to the weight coefficient. We can set coefficient via alignment property flex grow. Let the first two buttons occupy half of the screen together and the third half, the rest half. For this, we set flex grow for first button, flex grow 1 to the second button, and we already seen that these two buttons fill all spaces except button 3. And if we specify 2 for flex grow button 3, we can see that it is what we would wanted. Really impressive, and all this without a single line of code. Then it is even more interesting, but what if the component need to be transferred to the lines? We can just for experiment change again direction, and we can see that buttons left the same proportion as we specify. It is even more interesting, but what if the component needs to be transferred to the lines? To do this, Flexbox has a mechanism for transferring components when they do not fit on the screen. Let's disable reset flex grow property and set default values. Let's change alignment direction to row and enable wrapping mode. For this, we just set wrap property to wrap. And when we change width of container, we can see that button is moved automatically. What if we would like to add variety and make the dynamic change in the width of the component? To do this, we need to set the base size of the component using the flex basis properties. And after that, we already included the well-known stretching mode via flex grow. Let's do it. Let's select all buttons and set basis size, for example, to 120. And now let's set flex grow property. Okay, now we see that button automatically fill all the available space, but as soon as this is not enough for placing basis size button, button is moved on the next line. There are also other related Flexbox alignment properties, such as constraints. You also can specify margins, or for container you can also add paddings, for example 20. Also for debugging purpose, our design supports selecting and highlighting controls borders areas, and also you can take layout dump in for HTML CSS markup. There are many other alignment possibilities here that I would like to talk about, but let's move on and look at the quick list. Lists are one of the key components in mobile development. They replace the usual approach with grids, trees, and etc. The list items have truly amazing possibility for customizing the appearance through the use of various styles, which in turn are configured directly in the IDE in a familiar way. Let's open the demo sample. FGX Native provides a repository of official demo samples, which are grouped by categories. In this case, we are interested in the FGX CollectionView, and let's open a basic sample, base text list. Here is the TFG CollectionView component. In the IDE, we customize the appearance of the items via styles. You can see one styles with just one label and one separator line. You can create any numbers of styles. For example, if it is a news feeds, then there may be a banner style with advertisement, or there may be a style for a new preview. It is worth noting that the library comes with a set of preset styles in accordance with the concept of material designs, which can be selected and easily added with one click. For example, 3-line items with square image, primary, second text, and icon. Or 2-line icon, 2-line style. As you can see, you can use any visual components for designing your item style. TFG CollectionView doesn't store any user's data. Instead of it, it requests data via special events model. For example, the basic events handler are on get item count and on byte item. The first get item count is designed for taking count of items in list. For example, in this sample it is 1000 items. The second is the on byte item. This event is designed for binding your data to the component in item style. By default, if style is not specified for item, CollectionView uses the first style, this one. If you would like to use different style for different items, you should use onGetItemStyle event, and in this event return name of required styles based on item index. TFG CollectionView doesn't create, for example, 1000 items. Instead of it, it allocates only a few items which is visible on screen and view off screen several additional items. And when you scroll it, it can just move items between each other and reload, rebind data to items. So in this case, you can use any count of items in TFG CollectionView, and it shows amazing performance and smooth animations. Let's run this demo sample on device and look how this list works fast. Please note that the application starts instantly, and the list scrolls amazingly fast and smoothly. Also pay attention that performance doesn't depend on the count of items in this list. As you have seen, the list works very fast, but honestly it is pretty simple sample. So let's look at the example with a more complex list. Let's open a big sample, which I did several times ago for another webinar. This demo sample includes different layout of screens. Screen also is designed with using CollectionView with one style. The style includes several text information and image preview. Let's run the sample. Also in the sample there are different items layout. One light news, this one, or based on card. Let's run the sample and look at the device. Here you can see a light news template. Light news with horizontal layout sample, how it scrolls fast, and list view with cards basis items. And final layout with images based style. TFG CollectionView also supports another different features. For example, pull to refresh feature for refreshing items. Let's have a look on this demo sample. This demo sample emulates asynchronously downloading data from some server. And we use special additional event on TFG CollectionView on pull to refresh. How it works? When user pull content down for refreshing, we run thread with task. This task just emulate some delay in updating process. After it we generate new portion of items data, and after it we reload items. It is a simple sample. Let's have a look how it works on device. When we pull content down, you can see some pull to refresh indicator is being appeared, and when we release our pulling, the new thread is starting for 3 seconds, and after it we can see that items are updated. TFG CollectionView also supporting column layout items and dragging way for reordering items. Let's have a look. Grid layout, you can just specify for collection view number of columns. In this case, there are 2 columns. But let's check the reordering items. This demo sample shows how to use dragging mechanism for reordering items. For dragging, you should enable dragging feature in TFG CollectionView and write on moving item event handler. This event is being invoked when item from one index is being to move to another index. And also this event is designed for allowing or declining this movement. Because, for example, if you would like to allow move items, reorder items only in one small group, we can control it via these allowed properties. Let's run it and have a look at how it works. When we make long tap on item, the dragging way, the drag is being started, and we can move and select new position for dragging item. One of the interesting features of FGX Native is a centralized approach to managing the resources used in your application. Whether it is images, font files, custom files, animations, or just colors, it's all stored centrally in the Assets Manager. Let's open one of the big projects and have a look at how Assets Manager is organized. For working with Assets Manager, we should open it via main menu, Project, FGX Assets Manager. It is special designer which allows us to add any assets to your application and make some modification and changing parameters of these assets. The simplest assets, it is a color. It's a color resource, just a color. Name it color. You can use this color in any components in FGX Native. The second assets, it is a bitmap. For example, it is bitmap set asset. It is storing of different bitmaps for different screen scales of mobile device. There you can load, for example, icon. You can retint, recolor icon. For example, I have icon left, and if I would like to recolor it in this color, I just specify it, and you can see this original icon was tinted. It is really convenient in case if you have white or black original icon, and you can just specify required final color and try your color on mobile UI. It also supports 9-patch mode, and you can specify offsets from 4 sides, left, right, top and bottom, and when some component which is uses icon will render it, it will render this icon by 9 areas. The corners will not be stretched and will render as is. The central region will be stretched, and you can see how it looks on the right preview side. And the right, top, bottom, left and right side will be fixed width or height, and the stretched the other dimension. It is really convenient for using small icon, small image, and provide a stretchable rasterized view. You also can specify in Assets Manager any font files, for example OTF or TTF. You can just need to add corresponding related resource and specify font files. Also, you can generate masks image for TFG image because we provide a way for applying masks in IDE. For example, let's generate cycle mask for future. And also in case when you start developing your application, sometimes you don't have on your hand ready device, really design. In this case, you usually for good prototyping your mobile application, you need to have some image stubs. So this wizard allows you to do it. For example, I now generated special stub image preview for using in your application. There also you can see the special Lottie file animation format resources, but we will show how it works quite later. And special theme, you can generate color theme based on material design color palette. Theme, it is a set of special named color resources, and all components used it in your application. Let's have a look how component works with these resources. The first, this all resources is not stored into form resources, so instead of it increases speed of loading application on startup because it doesn't load any related images. Now let's have a look at how you can use it in form. I have simple form which is welcome page. It includes several T-label, icons, and the image slider. For example, for specify image, you will not find any bitmap instance property. You can just specify name of a resource from Assets Manager. In this case, we are using illustration onboarding image. You also can use, for example, color. If we talk about font, you can see that we are using text color from theme. Or you can specify your favorite color from resources via color naming, for example, fill brush property in cycle component. Also pay attention that this label use non-standard font, and you can just can specify assets name in the family font name property. In this case, this property, this component take font from assets. Now, if we will have a look at the form resource, we can see that there are no any colors and no any heavy images in the resources. It is really a small resource. One of the important feature of the TFG image, you can apply mask just in design. You don't need to write any lines of code. Just specify via mask image name resource with mask. And as you can see, mask automatically applied for content TFG image. Also, it supports a lot of different mode and combination mask mode and image mode, which really allows you to create and impress what you really would like to show in your mobile application. With Assets Manager, you also can add your any files. For example, if you have, for example, database file or JSON file or something else, you can just create any new file assets type and specify load any file. For example, I would like to just load path file. Also, you can specify where you would like to keep this file, in private document or public location. And when application is being started, it can extract this file into some special folders on your mobile device. And pay attention that you don't need to really know about how deployment manager works in Delphi. It is enough just specify all requirement settings in this assets manager and just take this file directly in code. Let's have a look how it looks in code. And let's open demo sample, loading text file. Assets manager includes one text file. It is hello world txt file. And what we should do for reading this file in code. It is just 2 lines of code. TFG manager, it is a special organize manager for working with these assets in runtime. We just need try to find named asset. It was named files hello world txt, and we just take from assets instance file name property. That's it. It is how it is simple to work with any custom files, and you don't really need to know about deployment manager. Also, one of the it is not a one. It's not only one cool feature. Also, let's have a look at the bitmap async loading assets by URL. It is one of my favorite demo sample. You can imagine that typical mobile application, it is a thin client, because all media data, for example, if we talk about news feed or something CMS, all images and previews usually are stored on independent server in the internet. And in this case, as typical mobile developer, you need to load bitmap before showing it into your UI. You can have a look that FGX manager is empty, just include color theme, and that's it. It just recolor any activity indicator. And I have one image by this URL. It is a big image, 7 megabytes. And what you need to do for automatically load and display this image into TFG image? What can be really simple? Just use special method add bitmap from URL async, specify name of your photo assets and specify URL. You also can optionally handle downloading result, but honestly you can also skip it and left just this piece of code. After loading, you also should specify name of loadable asset into image name. And it is really simple and it is amazing because you don't need to handle any HTTP issues. Just specify, and as soon as image will be loaded, it will be automatically displayed on TFG image component. Let's have a look at this demo in runtime. I additionally show image loading indicator, so I start and load show this indicator when user press load image by URL button, and I hide it as soon as bitmap is being loaded. So now we see the demo on mobile application. I press button and we can see that image is being loading. As soon as it is loaded, I see show message result dialog, and we can see this image. A separate part is occupied by containers components, which are designed to group components and display them in special ways. Among such components, FGX Native offers side sliding panels for menu. It is TFG drawer layout, bottom sheet layout. It is special panel which is being slided from bottom of screen and have intermediate state, collapsed state. Page control, pager layout for sliding virtual content, and regular vertical and horizontal scroll boxes. FGX Native also include all standard components like label, buttons, checkbox, radio buttons, and also it include advanced text input based components such as search edit or autocomplete edit. Also we include special for mobile specific component. It is a navigation bar component and TFG switch. Additionally, we provide set of components for working with date and time component controls. Also, it includes graphical simple components such as line, rectangle, cycle, and etc. Also, we fully support SVG path format by v3c.org. And also you can use TFG paint box for rendering anything what you need. If you are making an application for couriers who need to get a digital signature from a client, then you will find a special TFG signature component useful. It provides signature in SVG format, but also you can generate a bitmap instance instead. In order to make your application interactive for your clients, you can use the built-in animation or use advanced Lottie animations. With Usage Hour animation, you can use and animate size, bounce, position, scale, rotate component, and etc. But it requires some skills for doing it. If you don't really want to spend a lot of time for animation, we provide animation templates. It is a set of ready-to-use animation templates. For example, there are a few fading components from different sides, or just, for example, shake image. An alternative way to make the interface of your mobile application more interesting is to use lightweight animation for the Lottie. It is Lottie files. You can find any ready-to-use animation file and just use it in your mobile FGX Native application. On this site, you can find a lot of different animations. In FGX Native, you just need to use special TFG Lottie image, take animation file, it is usually uses JSON format, and download it to Asset Manager. After it is enough just specify animation via animation name and specify required animation file. Almost every mobile device has physical camera, which can be a useful tool in your mobile application, whether it is taking a screenshot, scanning a barcode, or anything else. It is necessary to be able to work with camera. FGX Native provides two ways for working with camera. The first, it is directly using camera device we have special component TFG camera and link it with camera preview container. In this way you can control and create custom UI for your camera application. You can take a photo in file or in bitmap. This way also can be used for using barcode scanner. FGX Native support internal embedded scanner for scanning any type of famous barcode formats. For this you just need to put T-barcode scanner component on form, link it to camera, and write event handler when barcode is being detected. For example, we would like to just show a toast message with gestured detected barcode, something like this. When we run application, and as soon as we move camera on some barcode, you can see that toast is being appeared with barcode data. The other way for working with camera, it is using a system mobile application camera on your device. For this purpose, we provide special picker photo factory, where you can take photo from camera, for example, or from library. Also, this factory supports taking multiple photos from library, and it provides special callbacks for controlling progress of taking photo, because if client takes, for example, a lot of big photos, processing can take additional time. For this purpose we do it in thread, and you can know about progress via special callbacks. If you are using a barcode scanner, possibly you should need to generate barcode. For this we have special extension for FGX Native, which provide a way for generating any favorite barcode formats. For example, just specify some data and you can generate a QR code. You can also use push notification in your mobile application. For this purpose, we provide special components, which is a wrapper on the RTL push notification abstractions. And with this component, you can easily take a device token, received any notification message, and monitoring push notification service states. As you can see, with this component, it is much easier to use push notification in your mobile application. If you need to authenticate your client in mobile application, you can use one of the several authentication clients in FGX Native. We support Facebook login authentication, VK login, Google sign in, and Apple ID authentication. For this, you just need to put a component, specify event handler, and handle any authentication data, such name, account name, email, ID, or some identity token. FGX Native offers a wide variety of ready-made integrations, among which there is support for maps. You can add markers, draw roads on the map, and even style map for Android. If you plan to make money on your application using advertising, then you can use AdMob components and show banners and full screen ads. For this purpose, we have special component for this and for banner. advertisement. If you are making a mobile payment application for service, then you can integrate payment via Google Pay and Apple Pay. But if we are talking about purchases inside your application, there is component for working with embedded purchase, TFG in-app purchase component. And additionally, don't forget that there is a browser with JavaScript support and video playback. We also provide special component for localization your interface in case if you are making international application. We got to know you with the rich capabilities of the FGX Native, watched live examples, and now it is time for you to try FGX Native yourself. To test our product and test the compatibility, we offer a trial version for a period of 30 days. During this period, you can independently check the work of the components and FGX Native, get acquainted with a large set of demo projects, and also you can check the work of third-party libraries together with FGX Native. We distribute the product according to the subscription model, but with the ability to use FGX Native versions obtained during the validity of your subscription even after it expires. A subscription for 1 year costs usually $550. It includes access to all updates through those year, access to support on the forum during the year. You can ask any questions related to using the library, get development tips, and download additional files. You also get access to the closed part of the community with discussion and demo examples from webinars and speeches. I repeat, but you can continue to use all versions of FGX Native received during the validity of your subscription, even after the expiration of your subscription. The opportunity to purchase an extension for the next year is more than twice as cheaper. Subsequent subscription renewals cost only $250. This is twice as cheap as the first year of subscription. However, this renewal price is only relevant when renewing an active current subscription. But that is not all. In honor of the new year, we are giving a $100 discount for new customers, and new subscription costs only $450 instead of $550. The discount is valid until January 15 next year. Thank you for your attention, and I will be happy to answer on any of your questions.
Okay, I'm here. And let's see. There's Yaroslav. Hey, there you are.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You know, we've exchanged emails a lot, but I don't think we've ever chatted. So I did have someone, Ian, commented to me they thought your components look really cool, which I agree. They're great to see. It's a great set of components out there. And yeah, so if anybody has any questions for Yaroslav, go ahead and put them in the chat window here, and we'll do our best to get them answered for you. Yes, the FGX components. Let's see. A hello from Brazil. I was just down in Rio. Let's see. I don't see any questions coming in. Anything you wanted to add? Oh, wait. Ian has a question about FGX. Go ahead and come on, Ian. You can come on the camera. Oh, here's a question about working with databases with
Yes,
FGX.
yes, of course, you can use any standard Delphi components, like a FireDuck, for example, or any third-party solution for using databases. Everything works fine, and our client use any database connection with Delphi Power.
Oh, fantastic! There's my animated background.
There you go. I'm here too now.
Aha!
Hey, very interesting demo. Unfortunately I missed the early start of it because we were flapping around going, oh, we need to get things organized. But really interesting. The question I had actually was, it looks like it kind of is a replacement for FireMonkey. Is that right? That it's an alternative to FireMonkey. Is that correct?
I position it as an alternative because FireMonkey has different design from beginning. So it was aimed on rendering any components and implementation itself, everything. And of course, it has a cool styles feature, it has effects and etc. And it is great for any development internal application where it is not really important for fast feedback from UI or possibly where it is not important for internal company, for example. But sometimes developer would like to not only solve some business tasks, but also make it fast and responsible UI. So for this purpose, FGX Native uses basis like a VCL. So it uses native component for iOS and Android and provide some wrappers and self-made components around.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I have to say I've not come across it myself before. Jim knows about it, but I didn't. But great stuff. Very interesting. I'm always interested in new components. The strength of Delphi is components. Someone else does all the hard work, and I just drop it on and look very clever. That's exactly the way I like to do programming: is get someone else to do the hard work for me. But very interesting. Anyway, I thought I'm going to disappear because I have other things to do as well. But very, very interesting. Yeah, thanks a lot, Yaroslav.
Thank you.
Okay.
I see one question about embedding horizontal scroll box in the collection view. Yes, it is possible, and you can use it.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I love FireMonkey, but I love also like Ian was saying the fact that there's a variety of components to choose from and stuff. But these like FGX that is a native that's like, hey, let's just use the native controls. It's great to have that functionality. I talked to someone a while back that was like talking about they really loved, I can't remember what, some sort of Xcode Cocoa component, and they're like, if I can't use Cocoa, then I'm not going to use it or use this component in Cocoa. But the thing I love about Delphi is that you can use it, but you don't have to use it. So yeah. All right. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time and your session and all the work you put into FGX. And I'm sure we will see you around more. So we're going to go ahead and transition to the next session, though. So if anybody has any questions, they can visit your website. Do you want to plug it again real quick? It's FGX Native.
Yes.
All right. So everybody can visit your website, fgxnative.com, to find out more information about your components. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Bye-bye.